All right. Welcome everybody to another episode of Hot Seat Automotive Media Podcast. Your buddy CJ here. We're talking about all things automotive industry, car guy stuff, gearhead stuff, real gearhead talk. This is the place to be. Tonight for real gearhead talk. I missed you guys. It's been a couple days. So tonight, we're going to go over some special automotive industry gearhead news. The only news that matters to car guys. How do you like that? But before we do that, guys, if you haven't given me a like and subscribe, please do. Love all my subscribers. I love all my guests. New folks, welcome. You're all welcome here if you love all things cars and car guy stuff and automotive hobby and talking about cool cars and cool trucks and you name it, anything and everything related to this wonderful automotive enthusiast hobby that we have, you're in the right place. Give me a like and subscribe. Leave comments. I answer all the comments I can. You guys know that. Had kind of a busy week, guys. Doing some business stuff. Your buddy CJ always says you got to take care of your priorities and your business first. And our hobby comes second, right? So that's my advice to the next generation of up-and-coming automotive enthusiasts. As always, you know I love and care about you guys. So just a couple things to think about. But I was in Texas this week. Austin, Texas, Austin city limits, and had a great trip out there. And I'm just energized and super excited to be back. So many exciting things going on and big things in our hobby. Let's talk about it. All right. So first things first, let's talk about this, guys. You know, on Hot Seat Automotive Podcast, we like to look at these things together and we kind of talk about them. So we got some Ford F-150 Lightnings. Now, guys, some big news this week. Big news out of Ford. They're cutting back on Lightning production. For those that don't know, the Ford Lightning F-150 is the EV Ford pickup. This thing was launched with a lot of fanfare, some really cool styling to it, some compelling and interesting performance figures out of the gate. But I think what manifested itself with this was a couple things. Just my opinion. Leave me comments if you feel differently. Number one, performance for the early buyers, the guys who bought these and actually put them to a test, towing, loading, range. They didn't pan out to be all that they were billed to be. That's my understanding. Now, full transparency, I've never owned one of these, but I've been watching it pretty closely. I've never driven one. I do think that, you know, if you set aside the fact that, you know, there's been all this controversy over the true range, what it can do when it's towing, what it can do when it's cold, when it's off-road, under heavy extreme conditions and loading, all the things you might actually use a pickup truck for. So, you know, set that aside for a moment, if we even can. I do kind of like what they did with the front grille. I think it's cool. It stands out. When I see one of these on the road, and I've seen quite a few, with those headlights, you know, it's kind of got that modern, hey, you know, that high tech, that innovative look. So there's that. Beyond that, it looks like a pickup truck to me, which it is. It absolutely is. Ford F-150, look at any metric you want to. It's you know, they make 800,000 of those per year, 900,000 per year, depending on the year, 1 million per year. So obviously there's a market in the brave new era of the EV for a Ford F-150 EV, the Lightning. Now, the news, though, this week is that Ford is cutting back 2/3 of employees. How do you like that? These poor folks. Now, before I get into poor folks losing their jobs, the good news in the details is that even though they cut back 2/3 of the people working on the Ford Lightning lines, they've offered a lot of them apparently other jobs around the Detroit area, around the plants, in other plants. And guess what? Here's an interesting tidbit, right? The folks that were displaced by the reduction in manufacturing efforts around the F-150 Lightning, some of them have been moved to the Bronco and to the Ranger. Who remembers during COVID, there was Bronco mania. Everybody I know was, not everybody, the Chevy guys, maybe not so much, but a lot of the Ford guys wanted to order a Bronco, the new Bronco. You know, it was kind of the anti-Jeep, if you will, the direct competitor. But anyway, those things have started hitting the streets. And, you know, over the past couple of years, starting to see quite a few. It's almost becoming normal to see a Bronco. I know for me, for a while there, it was like, oh, look, new Bronco. Oh, look, new Bronco. Now it's like, okay, there's a new Bronco. I do think they're cool. I'm still, in my heart of hearts, your buddy CJ prefers a Jeep over a Bronco. I haven't owned a Bronco. I've owned a Jeep. Was one of those things I always wanted to own. So a number of years ago, I went out and bought a Jeep. It was a good ownership experience. I had fun with it. I was disappointed in the quality overall. Not a quality vehicle. Sorry, Jeep guys, Jeep girls, don't hate me for saying that. You know me, it's real talk. I tell it like it is. The top started coming apart. The fabric top, like year one. The interior build was shoddy. You know, it felt like you were in something cheap, yet you pay somewhat of a premium for a Jeep. They are not cheap, price tag wise, for what you get. This is not a Jeep episode. Back to the matter at hand. So, Ford Lightning cutbacks, 2/3 of the staff being pulled from the Lightning lines and moved into the Bronco and the Ranger. Kind of interesting. They're also rejiggering the pricing model for the Lightning EV. So this might be a good time if you kind of had your eye on one of these. Truck guys, where are my truck guys at? Leave me comments, truck guys. If you had your eye on one of these or you're thinking about it, 2024 might be the year to snag one of these. They're probably going to have some good incentives. Okay, you could trick one of these out with the top of the line package right around six figures, like right around 100,000. That's a lot for a pickup truck. Come on. You guys agree with me? $100,000 for a Ford F-150 EV. That's still a lot of money for a pickup truck. Are you kidding me? But anyway, they're not all that much. You can get them under 80K. I don't know all the trim packages. It's just not something that I'm hot on. And if you guys want me to go deeper, leave me comments. We'll really tear into the F-150 Lightning and talk about what it is. But they have adjusted some of the pricing. I think the top of the line pricing has come down. Some of the other pricing has come up a bit. But I think what Ford is looking to do is to generate some demand here to move some units, but they want to be profitable, of course. Got to maintain profitability. So that's a bit about the Lightning. I really thought it was interesting. I think the other thing working here, maybe against the Ford Lightning and against all EVs, is a general softening in the EV market. I'm not going to be a naysayer who's going to say, that's it, EVs are done, because I don't think they're done. I do think there's a general normalization around demand, okay? And it's not, we're going to talk about Stellantis in a minute here with some of their objectives, I think are a bit lofty, but I want to know what you guys think about it. So all of these things, the less than optimal and real performance coming out of the initial buyers and the people who tested the F-150 Lightnings, coupled with a softening in the demand around EVs in general. Yeah, 2/3 of the workforce removed from the Lightning line, put onto other things. Thank God those folks have jobs, or some of them might be retiring. All right, as I take a swig of coffee, let's move on, guys. Are you having fun? I always say this. Who has more fun than us? Nobody. Nobody's better than us, right? Automotive enthusiast, real talk tonight. Let's keep going. Let's keep going, guys. This is just too much fun. So I'm going to share something else with you, and give me a minute to get it up on screen. And here we go. The Stellantis. Y'all know who Stellantis is. They are the holding company, one of the largest automotive organizations in the world globally. Certainly Dodge, Ram, Chrysler, Jeep, you name it, so many. The Alphas, now owned by Stellantis. There's a name that doesn't exactly roll off the tongue as a car guy. But anyway, Stellantis, big news this week. They have announced their STLA large platform EV. This new platform that you're looking at here, look at that thing. It just looks beefy, doesn't it? It just looks chunky and beefy. And you're right, it is. This thing will play host platform to some 8 different EVs. Okay. Between 24 and 2026 is when you're really going to start to see this thing hit the streets. Dodge, Jeep, and others. So, you think about Dodge, your performance brand, if you will, some of the bigger stuff. You think about Jeep. I don't know, is the Cherokee going to ride on this thing? Leave me comments if you know a bit more about this, or if you have an opinion on this. I thought it was kind of interesting. Stellantis is investing over the next 10 years, $54 billion. That's billion with a B in EV and in these innovations. That's a lot. That's a huge bet, right? That's a huge investment. And here's the thing I wanted to get your reaction to, guys, because this sounds ambitious. You ready? Real talk tonight, and I want to know what you guys think. This sounds ambitious to me. Stellantis says they want to be all EV in Europe for new vehicles sold by 2030. That's 6 years from now. Can they do it? Woo, that's ambitious. They want to be half EV in the US by 2030. So that means for every person you see on the street who buys a new gas internal combustion vehicle, the next person you see has got an EV. You got 4 people in your household, 4 of you buying new cars. 2's going to go internal combustion engine, 2 going to go EV. Is that realistic by 2030? What do you guys think? A couple other things to think about. Literally, in their press release, Stellantis said the performance capabilities on the new STLA platform will be available in certain configurations to exceed that of a Hellcat. What does that mean? These things will outperform Hellcats. So that's interesting. Why would they even mention that? And I have a whole nother episode dedicated to this. Dodge gonna do it again. And I know none of us who grew up in the muscle car era or who are current muscle car lovers, or V8, V10, twin turbo V6, V12 lovers, of course it's hard to get on board with an EV, but they're coming. They're here. And hard to predict where all this is going to go in the next 5, 10, 15 years. But I will tell you with confidence that there will be performance options. Not everything's going to look like a bubble or a teardrop. Driving down the street, there's going to be aggressively styled EVs. There's going to be higher performing EVs that even you and I can get behind. I've said this before. Leave me your comments. Let me know what you think. But they're also saying up to 500-mile range. I have a whole other episode about the ranges, guys. Snake oil. I call ranges snake oil. You got to take it for what it is. It's a lab test. It is guidance. It is not written in stone. You will, shall, and must get this range. You may not. There's a lot of press this week. Who's listen, we're in the middle of the cold front in so many states, in so many regions in the United States. Extreme weather, extreme cold. How about all the EV challenges? Tesla had major charging infrastructure problems up in Chicago that really caught fire in the media. How many saw that? Leave me comments if you've seen some of it, where, number 1, problems with the chargers not working as they should. Number 2, everybody's trying to use the chargers. Number 3, breakdowns in the chargers. Number 4, the cars aren't performing optimally. We talked about this on another episode. Car guys out there, you know this. Batteries and cells rely on a chemical reaction. In the extreme cold, the chemical reaction efficiency and efficacy goes down. It degrades. So, the dude running an Uber in his Tesla or EV, and literally there was someone interviewed in one article I was reading. Yeah, he had to recharge like 2 to 3 times as often as he normally would during his shift. So again, I'm not an EV hater. I'm not an EV basher. You guys know me. I just tell it like it is. And I make observations. And I love talking to you guys about it. But these are big facts. This is what's going on right now. These are the skunks we got to put on the table, as I always like to say, and talk about. And through innovation, through the technology, hopefully we get there. We arrive at a better place. What do I think? I think a lot of this is going to have to be rolled back. 2030. Write it down. Here's my bet. Your buddy CJ placing a bet tonight. We are not going to hit these goals by 2030. That's a narrative. That's an ideal. That's a soundbite. To me, that's my personal opinion. Let me know what you think. But I do think EVs are going to be a big portion of the market and are here to stay. All right. Let's keep going. Let's keep going with this real talk tonight because I know I'm having fun and I really hope you guys are too. Leave me comments. So let's talk about Chrysler. Is Chrysler relevant anymore, guys? Leave me comments. Chrysler, what a great old brand. Emphasis on old. Does anybody care about Chrysler anymore? Real talk. When was the last time, car guys, gearheads, I'm talking to you. When was the last time somebody said, boy, I really want a Chrysler? Never? Like in the past 10 years? Leave me comments if you feel differently. This is a brand in distress. The Chrysler brand is in distress. They have done incredibly cool things over the years. This is a photo I took of some Crossfires. I literally pulled over to take this photo. I'll never forget because, I mean, who sees that? This looks like a scene out of Grand Theft Auto. Where my gamers at? Where my gamers at? Does that look like a GTA photo? That's real life. I took that photo. You know me. I'm all about the cars. But Chrysler has become irrelevant, guys. And right now, Chrysler has like minivans. The 300 just ended. Okay, when our Challengers and Chargers internal combustion engine platforms were discontinued, the 300 went with them. Maybe it went with them. Done. So what happens next for Chrysler? They've got something called the Chrysler Airflow that's pending. There was a concept car that was kind of released and disclosed, and I think they're working on that platform to actually bring something to the market. But is that going to be, I think that's going to be a bit of a crossover. Chrysler's got to figure it out. I think the value in Chrysler is the history, but there is nothing cool about it. I mean, for the next generation of car guys and car girls, who cares about Chrysler? This is like I hate to say it, this is like a soccer mom brand. This is like an option. Instead of a Honda Odyssey, maybe you look at a Chrysler minivan. But if you're a performance car person, you're not looking at new Chryslers. I have never had the desire to go on a Chrysler lot. I've never been a Chrysler guy anyway. I think their peak was probably 60s, 70s. They did some stuff in the 80s, 90s, maybe early 2000s, the Crossfire, a couple other things. Leave me comments. Certainly the 300s. They did some interesting cars, the LHS, whatever. But Chrysler is in a crisis. Chrysler crisis. I just coined that phrase, guys. Your buddy CJ. Chrysler crisis. What is to come of the Chrysler brand? They're so irrelevant to the automotive enthusiast hobby. I think they've got a real identity problem. Are they the minivan brand? Well, there's some stiff competition there. Performance, luxury cars, good luck. There's a lot of incredible performance and luxury cars on the market and more coming every day. And I don't know how you're going to stem the tide there, Chrysler. So the news here with Chrysler and your buddy CJ's prediction, what do I think? I'm going to say it. I'll make a prediction tonight, and I'll go on record with you guys. Come on. Chrysler's not going to exist in 5 years. Chrysler's gone, certainly before 2030. They're just, you're digging out. They are so deep and irrelevant as a brand, in my opinion. And it saddens me to say that. The only reason it saddens me, I'm not a shareholder, but I'm not a big Chrysler buff. I'm a car guy, right? And what I can tell you is the thing that saddens me is just there is so much history there. There is nostalgia there. But so what? That's what books are for and old movies. You can look it up on the internet, but that's not going to get me on the lot. That's not going to turn me on to want to go buy a Chrysler. So I think Chrysler has problems. What do you guys think? Leave me comments. But guys, let's keep going. Who else is having fun? Come on, this is fun. I got to tell you, I'm having such a blast doing this episode. I'm so grateful to you guys. I'm sincere when I say that. Those that know me, I'm speak from the heart. And I've had a lot of great interaction with you folks. Feedback, good, bad, and indifferent. That's what we're here for. As long as it's respectful discourse, and you guys have been fabulous. And I'm just really enjoying this one car guy to another. And, this is what we do, right? We talk about the news that matters. And in this case, it's the car guy news tonight. Let's keep going. Here's the last bit I want to talk about, and it's important. Guys, the CARS rule. This is federal law that's pending from the FTC, three-letter agency in the United States, combating auto retail scams. This is relevant to you. Don't tune out. Car guys, don't tune out just because I'm talking about legal stuff. This is important regulation. that affects us as car buyers and as potential car buyers because it's regulation that's pending that will potentially impact all automotive dealerships in the United States, nearly all of them, effectively all of them. I've got a whole other episode dedicated to this, but what I want to tell you, the update tonight is that the FTC has put a pause on this. This was published and announced about a month ago and was to be activated, I believe effectively, was to go into effect as of July. They put the ice on that. They stayed it. They paused it. Pending federal review. You've got the NADA, the National Automotive Dealership Association, and the Texas ADA, the Texas Automotive Dealership Association, filed lawsuits against this. I don't think that's a good look. Let me say this first. NADA, Texas ADA, not a good look. Just my opinion. I'm not hating on you. I'm not hating on dealers. But guys, the principles, and watch my other episode for the full details, the principles of the FTC cars rule are good. They protect you and I as buyers, as consumers. They also protect our most vulnerable citizens. What am I talking about here? And I'm about to get fired up. You know how I get, guys. It's out of love. It's out of passion. But guys, around military bases, for example, you know, young men, young women serving our country would go to these car dealerships and they'd be so fast to want to sign on that dotted line to get the new Charger or Mustang or pickup truck. They wouldn't read the fine print. The dealers wouldn't call their attention to things. Not all dealers, but there are some predatory behaviors. Let's be blunt. Some unethical behaviors where it was, you know, markups, hidden fees, not disclosing the actual cash price, finance charges. These things were not fully disclosed. And, you know, junk fees, extras, that type of thing. Charging for nitrogen in tires when there's no more nitrogen being put in the tires than is already in the atmosphere. Okay. Disclosing what are dealer add-ons versus OEM stuff, original equipment manufacturer stuff, and whether or not these add-ons are optional. These things were not being disclosed, not just to the young military men and women, but that's a great use case, to others as well. And, you know, unethical business practices, scams, okay? Lack of disclosure, lack of transparency. I'm not going to go into all of it, but there was nothing principles-based. There's nothing bad about this. I will also tell you as a business person, and a lot of you guys know this, there is nothing in the CARS rule that cannot be easily implemented through some process improvement, some technology enablement. I have great dealers that I've done business with over the years. Hendrick, for example. Some of their dealerships, maybe all now, it's been a minute since I bought something from Hendrick, but a couple of the dealerships like Hendrick Porsche, they literally had like a giant iPad, you know, as a touch screen where all your disclosures and you walk through everything and the guy, you know, the finance guy swipes through and, you know, here's all your forms, sign it, review it, highlight it. My point being that through technology and automation, it's not like this needs to be terribly painful for dealers to do this right. You don't need the high tech to do it. And many dealers have been doing business correctly and ethically for years, but a lot of y'all haven't. Real talk. A lot of you dealers need to stop it. All right? And get on board with the good, transparent, ethical business practices. Okay? So if you're doing business right and in the spirit of transparency and ethics and doing right by your clients and your customers, then this shouldn't be a problem. And it's not a good look, in my opinion. Automotive dealership associations, trade associations, conglomerates, whatever, to be fighting this. Embrace it. Let it level the playing field for a better buyer experience, because some of y'all are going to become dinosaurs. That's my prediction. You know, look at the Tesla customer engagement model. Look at Amazon getting on board. Like, you want feet on the lot in the next 10, 15, 20 years, you better start thinking about maintaining what you got in your market share and delighting your customers and your clients. Okay? All that money that was printed by the dealerships during COVID, yeah, stop it. Like let's reinvest some of that into your archaic infrastructure if that's the situation you're in, or if you need to hire more people, do it. Do what's right for business, for compliance, and for ethics. So I'll get off my soapbox on that for now. But what I want you to know is, the FTC has put this on ice, slowing it down. Let's see what happens pending this litigation. I think the FTC is also hedging its bets. I think this will, what's my prediction? Your buddy CJ, I'll give it to you straight. This is going through. The FTC cars rule will go through either A, as it currently exists, or B, they're going to tweak it. They're going to modify it. Might there be a compromise? There might. They might phase in, stagger in some of the compliance with, blowing the dates out past July of 2024, the mandatory compliance, or maybe they'll tweak some of the specific requirements. But this is coming. You are not stopping this, dealerships. That's my opinion. That's my prediction. And I do think it's the right move. I do think the FTC kind of wants to make sure that this will hold water in the courts, but it also gives them some time for Plan B and Plan C. So do not underestimate the federal government. 3-letter agency, yeah, they're going to get their way. It's going to happen. Just, I don't see this getting stonewalled and stopping. So guys, that's a little bit about the FTC cars rule. Now, I wanted to get this episode tonight and really re-engage with you guys and talk to you guys about some of this hot news, new developments. This is car guy news, stuff that matters to us, that we like talking about, that one way or the other is going to affect us, either directly by way of compliance matters that we might face on any dealership, or if you're a Ford dude or a Chrysler dude or Stellantis, whatever it might be, these things might be of particular interest to you. So I know when I saw these in the news wires, they're of interest to me. So I want to get on here and talk to you a little bit about it. Guys, again, having so much fun with you. Give me a like and subscribe. Let's stay connected. Leave me some comments. As you guys know, I'll respond to all the comments that I can. Hot Seat Automotive Podcast. I love you guys. Thanks for coming on here and checking this one out. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.